Hello again. It's been a while since I posted last. Some of that is work schedule, some of that is the fact that I got sick. So here we are, back again. Today I want to talk about the movie. I was just reading some about the book and noticed that there was talk about doing a movie. Anyway, that's why it's in my mind. Anyway, this is a book by Terry Brooks. I like Terry Brooks' writing. I have a lot of his books. I've read this book a couple times now. I like the Magic Kingdom, the Magic Kingdom of Landover novels. I don't feel they're as good as his Shannara series. Although this could be interesting seeing this one adapted for the screen. Anyway, the book starts out in what we would term as the real world. It starts out on Earth, with a man named Ben Holiday. Ben Holiday is a trial lawyer in Chicago, and he is rather well-to-do, but he feels out of sorts with his life, that it's not really going anywhere, and he's pretty down in the dumps. His wife and unborn child were killed in a car accident, and he's just kind of been existing, really. You know, he's been doing his job and things, but at the same time, he really feels that there's nothing for him on Earth. And one day he's leafing through a catalog that's a lot of expensive gifts and things, and he comes across something that's too good to be true. It's the opportunity to purchase a magical kingdom for $1 million. And he thinks, oh, this can't possibly be true. But the more it plays on his mind, the more he thinks this could be exactly what I need, get away from here, start a new life. And so he makes arrangements to have his various assets converted to cash so that he can purchase this kingdom for $1 million. For $1 million. And it turns out that it's actually real. He is given a magical medallion and told how to find his new kingdom. And he crosses over from Earth to Landover. Landover is kind of the nexus place in this particular world where if you know where you're going and what you're doing, you can move from Landover to just about anywhere in creation. But he ends up in Landover, and the Kingdom of Landover lives up to its name of being a magical kingdom. There's dragons, there's magic, there's all sorts of stuff going on. And it's kind of going downhill. That's something, obviously, that the seller didn't let Ben know before he took the keys to the kingdom, if you will. He ends up, as I said, the king of Landover. He has very few royal attendants. You can see two on the cover here. One is the court wizard, Questor Thuse, who is inept as far as wizards go. His magic isn't all that it's cracked up to be. And in fact, the court scribe is that dog-looking thing behind them. And he actually is a dog. He accidentally was changed from a man to a dog by Questor Thuse, and now Questor can't change him back. So Ben makes the most of in this case, a bad situation. He's just bought this kingdom. It cost him basically all of his money, and he has nowhere left to go. Nothing, left for him back on Earth. And so he decides to basically just do what he can to be the king that the Kingdom of Landover needs. He starts by trying to make trying to get the lords of his kingdom on his side. They have a condition. He has to get rid of a dragon in order for them to back him. He then goes after the what are they? Basically the fairies. So the fairies in their kingdom, most of them live in the no-go boundary between the Kingdom of Landover and everywhere else. It's the Fairy Mist. But there are some fairies who were kicked out of the Fairy Mist and they live in Landover as part of his kingdom. So he goes to them to get them on his side, and they have their own quest conditions and things like that. Some of the novel moves a bit slowly, and I mention here that I'm probably not doing it much justice. It was really good. There are some things about the setting that are very interesting. There's a mythical knight called the Paladin that was the protector of the kings. Nobody has seen him since the death of the previous king. And during times of extreme stress, the Paladin starts appearing again for Ben Holiday. There's an interesting R2-D2 C-3PO type interplay between Questor Thuse and Abernathy, the court scribe, with Abernathy being the more C-3PO type character, very uptight, very much, we've got to do this by the book, I am the court scribe, and Questor Thuse, in this case, instead of being the sassy, sidekick, being the lovable buffoon in this case. But there's also the dragon that's involved, the witch Nightshade, who is fairy herself, and the interplay between her and Ben as he's trying to unite the kingdom behind him. This actually leads really well into the following novels. And everything, because one of the things you find out is that Ben's not the first person who has bought this kingdom. You find out that this has kind of been a scam going on with the previous king, with his son. So the previous king died, and his son was like, I don't want to rule this place. This place is a dump. And so he, with the previous court wizard, have cooked up this scheme to keep getting money. So they sell the kingdom for $1 million. King comes in, new king comes in, finds out that he can't hack it, goes back to Earth, loses all his money, and they just sell the kingdom again. And so Ben is just the latest in the line of people who've bought the kingdom and who have been trying with varying degrees of success to make a go of it. So Ben, in this case, who's the latest, but he's the most with nothing to, he's shouldn't say the most. He has nothing to lose at this point. He's basically there's nothing left for him on Earth. He is a very good man, very good person. And he tries very hard to make sure that he's doing right. He's doing the right thing by his new subjects. He's not just in it to, enjoy himself for a weekend and then go back home. So it is very good. Like I said, there's a couple places where I feel that it kind of slows down a bit. So if you're interested in that kind of person from the real world, there's a lot of talk. I shouldn't say a lot of talk. There's a lot of that going around right now with a lot of isekai anime where the protagonist is from what we would consider the real world and they're dropped into a fantasy setting. This is very much that kind of thing, and it could do well as a television series, or especially as a television series, I think, where it would be more episodic in nature, rather than, I think that a movie wouldn't necessarily do it justice. Too much they'd have to chop out. One of the weird things that I did notice when I was looking at what they were talking about for the movie, it's one of those things kind of stuck in development hell, as they say. They were mentioning that they had thought about including 2 children characters in this, and it just did not make any sense. They're not in the book at all, so why would they include them in the movie? I don't know. However, there seems to be a lot of that going around where, especially with Amazon buying the rights to a lot of Tolkien's work, and releasing the Rings of Power, which, boy, let me tell you what a fiasco that is. It seems to me that if you're buying an author's work to adapt it to a different medium, that there's a reason why you bought it in the first place. That it has fans, that it has a dedicated fan base. And there's a reason for those fans of the original work. There's a reason that there are fans of the original. And so you don't need to worry about, changing it too much. People are going to be fans of it. That's kind of the point. Now, I understand that when you're adapting from one media to another, that you do need to make adaptations. You do need to make concessions. The Lord of the Rings trilogy by Peter Jackson. I enjoyed watching those movies. I enjoyed what I saw, and I do realize that they were taking those 3 books and adapting them into 3 movies, and they could have included so much more information, and they had to chop out quite a bit of things. But for the most part, and there's one thing that really gets me about the Lord of the Rings trilogy that I think they totally missed the boat on, but I do understand that you need to cut things out to, Tom Bombadil, for instance, completely get it, why he was cut out. Radagast the Brown, I completely get why he was cut out. There's no reason to put those in the movie when you can basically accomplish the same thing and then condense the movie. Now, that being said, it's when you change a theme or a tone, you gender swap a character. There's no reason for that. There's a reason people liked the original work. Leave it that way. But once again, I understand the need for changes. I'm not against them. I'm against the reasoning behind it. If it's to do things like be inclusive or to make the the work, which was written who knows how long ago, conform to today's standards. Now that's stupid. There's a reason that people liked it. The original, you should leave it that way. Now, if it's to edit things for brevity, for pace, sure, I can get behind that. You're not changing the original. You're not changing the tone. You're not changing the theme. You're just cutting things out that can be condensed or that don't push the story forward. I can totally get behind that kind of stuff. Anyway, that's enough ranting from me. Please like and subscribe. Leave your comments down below. And let me know if there's a book that you'd like to hear my take on. Maybe I've read it, maybe I haven't. And I can always use good recommendations for books. Anyway, until next time.